The fluorescent lights of the JFK terminal buzzed like angry hornets, a sound drowned out only by the frantic hammering of my own heart against my ribs. My phone's screen, cracked from the sheer force of my grip, displayed the group chat that had just detonated my world. "Mom, sweetie, after a lot of discussion, we feel this trip to Bali is inappropriate. Your focus should be on your studies, not beach parties. We've canceled your ticket. Dad's fetching you from the airport. Be ready at arrivals. Aunt Lisa, listen to your parents, Maya. Family knows best." My brother, Kyle, Lal told you the messages had come through 20 minutes ago. Just as I was about to board the final leg of my dream vacation, a reward to myself for surviving pre-med finals with my sanity barely intact. I'd saved for 2 years, working double shifts at the campus coffee shop, the scent of burnt espresso beans permanently etched into my soul. And now, with a few taps on a screen from 3,000 miles away in Ohio, my family had yanked it all away, stranded, at an international terminal. With nothing but a carry-on filled with bikinis and sarongs, utterly useless against the New York chill seeping through the giant windows. Tears of pure, unadulterated fury blurred my vision. I was 22 years old, for God's sake, not a child who'd failed to clean her room. The humiliation was a physical burn crawling up my neck. I could see Dad's disapproving face already, the tight line of his mouth as he'd pull up to the curb, the "I told you so" lecture that would last the entire 6-hour drive back to Columbus. "Miss, you're blocking the aisle." I stumbled aside, muttering an apology to a harried flight attendant, and collapsed onto a cold metal seat near a deserted gate. This was it. The culmination of a lifetime of being the good girl, the obedient daughter whose dreams were always a little too big, a little too messy, for her family's tidy, risk-averse world. I pulled my knees to my chest, burying my face, the world narrowing to the damp fabric of my jeans and the hollow roar of despair in my ears. I don't know how long I sat there. Time became meaningless, measured only in the departure and arrival of strangers, in the echoing announcements for flights to places I would now never see. The scent of overpriced pretzels and stale coffee made my stomach churn. It's a particular kind of cruelty, isn't it? To give you wings and then lock the cage. The voice was low, calm, and impossibly close. I jerked my head up, wiping my cheeks with the back of my hand. A man stood a few feet away, not looking at me, but at the same vast window I'd been staring blindly through. He was older, maybe in his late 50s, with silver-streaked dark hair and a face that spoke of quiet authority rather than loud power. He wore a simple but exquisitely tailored charcoal coat over a sweater, no suitcase in sight. He didn't seem like a man waiting for a flight. He seemed like a man who owned the airline. "I'm sorry," I croaked, my voice thick with unshed tears. He finally turned. His eyes were a startling, perceptive blue, the color of a deep winter sky. They held no pity, only a sharp, assessing intelligence. Leaving someone stranded, it's a power play, one designed to remind you of your place, of your dependence. His gaze flicked to the phone I was still clutching in a death grip. "Family!" The acute accuracy of his observation stole my breath. I could only nod, a fresh wave of helpless anger threatening to spill over. "I saw you at the check-in counter earlier," he continued, his tone conversational. "You had this light about you. The kind people have when they're stepping into a version of themselves they've only dreamed of, and now it's gone, extinguished." He took a step closer, his hands in his pockets. "My name is Alistair Thorne." The name meant nothing to me in my distraught state. Later, I would learn it was a name that shaped skylines, that moved markets, that whispered through the corridors of global power. But in that moment, he was just a strangely insightful stranger in an airport. "Maya," I whispered. "Maya," he repeated, as if testing the weight of it. "They've taken your ticket. They've taken your trip. Don't let them take your spirit." That's the one thing they can never truly control unless you surrender it. What choice do I have? The question was a plea, torn from somewhere raw and broken inside me. My dad's on his way. I have no money for another ticket, even if I wanted to defy them. I'm stuck. Alastair Thorne was silent for a long moment, his eyes scanning my face. The din of the terminal seemed to fade, leaving a bubble of intense quiet around us. Then he did something extraordinary. He leaned in just slightly, and his voice dropped to a whisper, so low I had to strain to hear it over the distant rumble of a jet engine. "Trust me." 2 words. Insane, reckless, potentially terrifying words from a complete stranger. But they weren't in demand. They were an offering. And in them, I didn't hear the patronizing tone of my family or the empty platitudes of a friend. I heard a challenge. A door was cracking open in the solid wall that my life had just become. Every sensible bone in my body, every ounce of my good girl programming screamed at me to shut it down, to wait for Dad, to accept my fate, to go home and be the dutiful daughter. But that programming had just left me abandoned and heartbroken in the middle of JFK. The light he'd seen in me, the light I'd felt for the first time in years as I packed my bags, was guttering, and his whisper felt like oxygen. I looked into those winter blue eyes. I saw no malice, no sleaze, only a calm, unwavering certainty. It was the most dangerous gamble of my life. "Why?" I managed to ask, my own voice barely a whisper. "Why would you do anything for me?" A ghost of a smile touched his lips. "Let's call it an investment in potential and a distaste for wasted light." He straightened up. "The choice is entirely yours, Maya. You can walk to the arrivals gate 3 and meet your father, or you can walk with me to the private aviation terminal." Right now, my heart was a frantic drum against my ribs. This was madness. This was how true crime documentaries started. But the thought of getting into my father's car, of the suffocating silence and the simmering resentment that would define the next year of my life, that felt like a slower, more familiar kind of death. I took a shuddering breath. Then, with a trembling hand, I picked up my carry-on. I didn't look at Alastair Thorne. I just stood, my legs unsteady beneath me. "I don't even have a passport for a private terminal," I said, a last feeble grasp at practicality. "That," he said, already turning, "is not a problem." Walking beside him through the terminal was surreal. He moved with an invisible current of authority. People simply parted before him without seeming to realize why. We took a series of elevators and descended into a sleek, silent corridor that led away from the public chaos. At a discreet desk, a man in a crisp uniform nodded. "Mr. Thorne, your aircraft is ready." "And for your guest," Alastair gave my name. The man typed, glanced at a screen, and nodded. "All set. Enjoy your flight to Bali, Miss Sharma." My jaw went slack. He had, in the span of 30 minutes, somehow added me to a manifest, cleared me through security, and arranged a visa. The scale of the influence required was beyond my comprehension. My fear began to curdle into a dizzying, terrifying awe. The private jet was not an airplane, it was a loft in the sky. Cream-colored leather seats that looked more like art installations, a sofa, and a dining table. A flight attendant with a warm smile offered me a glass of water as the door sealed with a soft, pressurized sigh. The reality of what I'd done slammed into me. I was on a billionaire's private jet, flying across the world with a man I'd known for 15 minutes. As the engines powered up, Alastair settled into a chair opposite me. "The first rule of claiming your own life, Maya," he said, as if reading the panic on my face, "is to breathe through the terror. It's just the old version of you fighting to stay in control. Who are you?" The question finally broke free. "Someone who was once stranded in a different way," he said, his gaze drifting to the window as New York fell away beneath us, a glittering tapestry of other people's lives. "My story isn't important right now. Yours is. This trip is yours. Bali is yours. The only condition is that you do not contact your family for the duration. Let them sit in the consequence of their choice. Let them wonder. You need the space to remember who you are without their noise." The directive was shocking, yet it felt instinctively right. To go silent, to truly, fully disappear into an experience they had tried to deny me. I powered off my phone, feeling a jolt of both fear and profound liberation as the screen went black. The next 2 weeks were a dream painted in vibrant hues of emerald and sapphire. I stayed in a serene villa overlooking the Ubud rice terraces, arranged but not intruded upon by Alastair's invisible network. He was not there. He had business in Singapore, he said. But his presence was in the freedom he'd granted. I spent days learning to surf in Canggu, the salt water washing away layers of expectation. I hiked to hidden waterfalls with a local guide who spoke of balance and letting go. I sat in silence at dawn meditation, something I'd never have dared do back home, where productivity was God. I made fleeting friends with other travelers, a painter from Barcelona, a chef from Melbourne, people who saw Maya, not someone's daughter, someone's sister, someone's future doctor. One evening, as I watched the sun dissolve into the Indian Ocean, my turned-off phone heavy in my bag, I realized I hadn't thought about organic chemistry or my parents' disappointment in days. The constant, low-grade anxiety that had been my baseline since childhood was gone. In its place was a quiet thrum of possibility. This was what it felt like to belong to oneself. Alastair joined me for the final 3 days. It was not what I feared, nor what some cynical part of me had suspected. He was a perfect gentleman, a fascinating conversationalist. Over dinners of grilled mahi-mahi and spicy sambal, he shared not his wealth, but his philosophy. He spoke of building his first company from a garage, of the mentors who saw something in him when he was a hungry, angry young man with nothing. Of the importance of strategic defiance. "The world tries to assign you a script, Maya," he said one night, the firelight dancing in his eyes. "A good daughter, a diligent student, a safe career. There is nothing wrong with any of those roles unless they are cages, unless the person you are meant to be is screaming to get out. Your family's act at the airport wasn't about Bali. It was about clipping the wings that were getting too strong. Remember, the most powerful reply to being underestimated is not anger. It is a quiet, undeniable success on your own terms." His words were a key, turning inside locks I didn't even know I had. The final morning, as we prepared to leave, he handed me a simple white envelope. "Do not open this until you are back on American soil, alone, and ready for your next step." The flight back was a reversal of the journey out. I was different. The girl who had crumpled into a chair at JFK was gone, folded away like outgrown clothes. In her place was a woman with a spine of steel and a fire in her heart, banked but ready. When we landed, Alastair's car was waiting on the tarmac. He took my hand, his grip firm and warm. "This is where our paths diverge, Maya. You have everything you need now." The trust was not misplaced. He gave me that faint, knowing smile. "Remember, wasted light is a tragedy. Go shine. And never let yourself be stranded again." Then he was gone, the black sedan disappearing into the flow of traffic, leaving me standing there with my carry-on and an envelope that felt like a live wire in my hands. I took a cab to a friend's apartment in the city, not ready to face Ohio. Only when I was alone in the spare room, the city's hum a distant promise, did I open the envelope. Inside was not money. It was a letter and a key. "Maya, potential, once recognized, demands an opportunity. Enclosed is a key to a small apartment in Brooklyn. It is yours, rent-free for 1 year. Use it as a home base, a sanctuary, while you build the life you want, not the one prescribed for you. The address is below." I have also taken the liberty of connecting you with the director of the Global Health Innovations Institute in Manhattan. They have a pioneering program blending medical science with community-focused entrepreneurship. I believe it aligns with the passion I heard in your voice when you spoke, unbidden, of wanting to cure more than just symptoms. An interview is arranged for you at your convenience. The decision and the path are yours alone. You trusted a stranger in an airport. That took courage. Now trust yourself. You are capable of far more than you know. Your journey is your own. Alastair, I sat on the edge of the bed, the key cool in my palm, the letter fluttering in my trembling hand. He hadn't given me a handout. He'd given me a launch pad. He'd seen the trapped, furious girl and had invested in the woman she could become. I powered on my phone. It exploded with notifications. 102 missed calls, countless texts ranging from concerned to furious to guilt-inducing. I didn't read them. I composed a single, deliberate message to my family group chat. I am safe. I needed the trip and I took it. I am staying in New York to pursue an opportunity. I will be in touch when I am ready. Please respect my need for space. Then I blocked all their numbers. The act felt less like cruelty and more like surgery, the removal of a toxic growth so I could heal. A year later, the transformation is complete. I live in a sun-drenched Brooklyn apartment. I am halfway through the intense, thrilling program at GHII, studying how to bring mobile medical clinics to underserved urban communities. It's a vision that is entirely, uniquely mine. My family. After months of radio silence, I unblocked them. The dynamic had shifted. They'd been forced to live with the mystery, with the terrifying realization that I was no longer under their control. Our first phone call was stilted, filled with their confusion and my calm, unshakable boundaries. They don't understand my life, and I've stopped trying to make them. The love is still there, but it's no longer in a cage. It's a distant, quieter thing. I never saw Alistair Thorne again. Sometimes I see his name in the financial news or a picture of him at some gala. I don't reach out. He gave me the ultimate gift, a self fully realized. My light, once almost extinguished, now burns steady and bright. And I know, with absolute certainty, that I will never again allow myself to be stranded. My wings are mine, and the sky, at last, is open. Hey everyone, I hope you felt every bit of Maya's journey from heartbreak to empowerment. That moment of choosing yourself, even when it's terrifying, can change everything. If her story resonated with you, if you've ever felt stuck or underestimated, do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And subscribe for more stories about finding the courage to rewrite your own script. Let me know in the comments below, what would you have done if you were in Maya's shoes? Would you have gotten in the car, or would you have chosen the unknown? Until next time, remember, your light is worth fighting for. Don't let anyone strand you on the runway of your own life. See you in the next story.